Fair Go with Kevin Milne and Anna Thomas.
Hi there. After last week's birthday edition, we thought once again we'd start off with a bit of a bang.
More on that in a moment. Also on the show tonight, driving doesn't get worse than this.
There's no steering. It's gone. You turn the wheel like this, nothing.
Oops, and oops again after a bit of false advertising. Why didn't the customers get what they were promised? This $150 cool tool.
Not this Chinese cheapie.
If your idea of living next door to a vineyard conjures up romantic visions of sipping Chardonnay under the vines, think again.
It's not as peaceful as people would believe, and it's not corks popping that's got locals' backs up in Blenheim.
Here's Raywin on the wine trail.
What could be more idyllic? Early morning in a vineyard. Luscious grapes ripening in the sun, a rooster's rousing call and birdsong rising on the breeze. But at this time of the year, the dawn chorus around the country's vineyards takes on another tune. In winemaking areas like Marlborough, harvest time means bird scaring time, and it can sound more like Bosnia than rural New Zealand. And that's driving war veteran Doug Dawson mad. It sounds very noisy around here today to me. Is this what it's normally like?
It's an exceptionally quiet day.
All this banging?
Yeah, that's quiet.
So how bad have things been?
Well, we've been having easy up to 100 explosions an hour. We've had one particularly bad gun that's been firing fire over the limit of decibels, and it's been firing 60 shots an hour. The council approved 24 shots an hour. I wouldn't approve any, actually.
The problem is ripening grapes have to be protected from birds that can cause thousands of dollars of damage to a vineyard. Keeping the pesky packers from having a free breakfast, lunch and dinner is no easy task, and grape growers tend to throw everything they can at the birds. The most effective is netting, an expensive option, but it gives plenty of protection. There are kites, balloons, waving ribbons, and even fluttering plastic bags. Horns, shotguns, sirens, and even motorbikes also make a din, but it's the gas guns that tend to annoy neighbours as much as they do the birds. They come in various shapes and forms and fire percussions in varying intervals to scare the birds off the vine. They sound just like shotguns going off, and if you're surrounded by a number of vineyards all using scarers, it can sound like war.
Well, it's that loud it is very difficult to work outside here, for me anyway. And we go inside and shut the door, and there's no rest. We're still subjected to over 12 hours of this gunfire per day for every day of the week, and it's been going on for almost 4 weeks now, and I find it very hard on the nerves, very hard to put up with.
Local orchardist Ken Warren says the frequency of firings does get out of hand.
I counted 170 explosions inside on Sunday in half an hour, and about 28 of those were pretty loud.
So you're sitting inside your house?
Yeah, in the office, and I just counted them per minute. Yeah.
And it's not the sort of sound you want to hear in a camping ground. At Seddon, just south of Blenheim, camping ground owners Peter and Denise Corden say it's campers who are being scared away, not birds.
Well, it's ruined us. We're bankrupt. We're ruined.
Because campers get
Because
upset.
campers just don't want to come.
One camper wrote,
We were woken up at dawn by noisy four-wheelers shooting rifles for hours. It's still going on at 9 a.m. One can hardly feel safe. Please give me a refund. I was afraid of getting out of my tent in case they mistook me for whatever they were shooting. If we had known about this, we'd have felt better camping on the side of Highway 1.
The vineyard owners say they've made considerable attempts to ease the problem, putting in netting near the camp and shutting down the gas guns in favour of shotguns. But the noise problems persist.
Council say there's nothing they can do. Last year the police told us it was a breach of the peace and they'd confiscate the equipment if they did it again. But this year the same police are telling us that it's going on all over Marlborough, so there's nothing they can do.
But I mean, that noise, if I was camping in here and that noise started up at 6 o'clock in the morning...
Oh, but this is good. This is great. This is quiet.
It's quiet today.
This is a good day, yeah. It's brilliant. If it was like this all the time, we wouldn't moan. We wouldn't complain about it.
Well, strange that Denise should say things had suddenly gone quiet since we arrived in town, because back in Blenheim, people were also commenting on the peace. Jerry Hay's been helping Doug Dawson battle the guns.
Yes, we noticed the council was out here this morning. When I arrived, they were here, and the guns have been turned right down today. Everything's quiet out here. It's like the Battle of the Somme normally.
It turned out many people had heard on the grapevine that fair go was on the way.
When Doug Dawson wrote to us, he said he'd approached 3 Marlborough District councillors, the Labour Department, the Public Health Office, the Marlborough Grape Growers Association, and written to the council twice asking for help. He'd got nowhere until he wrote to Fair Go. By coincidence, the day we rang him was the day a council officer finally turned up to measure the noise. Doug says one particular gun was found to be firing at 110 decibels. That's 4 times as loud as the limit listed in council guidelines.
In a statement to Fair Go about Doug's complaint, the council said,
We have found that his complaints have been justified. Accordingly, the owners of the adjoining vineyards have been approached by council officers to reduce the loudness and frequency of the bird scaring devices.
The Marlborough District Council denies Doug's complaints have been ignored until now, but Doug is adamant.
Nobody came to see me till yesterday, till Fair Go was coming.
Doug says his neighbours have also complained to little effect. The World War II veteran says it's got to the stage where he's had enough.
Well, it brings back a lot of memories. They're hard to live with. It brings back memories of friends of mine that got killed and what we had to put up with. Memories that I've pushed behind me and tried to do away with, but it brings them back, and it causes dreams and sleepless nights. It's one of the side things, but since I decided to make a stand on it, it hasn't troubled me so much. I've put all my energy and thoughts into trying to do something about the situation.
I guess when you came back from the war, you weren't expecting to hear gunfire again.
No, I come back for peace and quiet, and I haven't got it.
It may just be a coincidence that our arrival here today has coincided with what Doug describes as a ceasefire. But we hope in future the council remembers that residents' rights need protecting as much as grapevines.
We're glad Doug's finally got some peace. As for the Seddon campground, the day after we visited, a council officer arrived and confirmed the noise levels were over the top.
Things have quietened down, but the vineyard owner says noise reduction efforts this season have cost them big bucks. Out of an estimated 20 tonnes of grapes, only 5 tonnes was harvested after the birds had feasted.
Balancing residents and grape growers' needs may not be easy, but the issues are up for debate. In Marlborough, new rules to govern the use of bird-scaring devices will soon be up for public discussion as a resource management plan is finalised. In fact, the same sort of process is happening around the country. And if bird scarers are bugging you, this is the time to get in, send submissions, have your say.
Too right.
You're with Fair Go. After the break,